Hi, this is Matt at State of Flux here with another 52-week movie challenge. Everyone's a critic. Playing a bit of catch-up. We are on week 22. The challenge is a musical. The musical I chose was Disney's Zombies. Year released was 2018. This is cheating a little bit as it was a TV movie, but those are still movies. Aspect ratio, this was the first Disney Channel original film to be shot in 2351. Runtime, 1 hour and 34 minutes. Genre musical. Rated, not rated, but it would be a PG, or the equivalent. Starring Milo Manheim, Meg Donnelly, Trevor Torteman, Kylie Russell, and James Godfrey. Directed by Paul Hohen. Produced by Disney Channel, written by David Light and Joseph Rasso, based on their book. Apparently this was a book. Music by George S. Clinton, and it was nominated for a Humanitas for Children's Teleplay. Why did I choose this particular film? I wanted to choose Evil Dead the Musical. I have a bootleg copy of that, but I felt like that was tipping the cheating hat over far too much because it's not publicly accessible. Not like that Star Trek one I did a few weeks back, or not like a TV movie. So then I toyed with doing Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, but again, that's more of a web series rather than a movie. So I just googled musicals and this one popped up, and my daughter is in love with this franchise, so I thought, why not? Let's revisit this film. Had I seen this movie before once, and I slept through part of it the first time, so this was my first straight-through viewing, and would I recommend this film? Why or why not? I actually liked it. Its main sticking point is the strength of its two stars, who have a pretty solid screen presence. What's his name? Milo Manheim can really bring the energy for the singing and stuff like that, and he has strong screen presence. Apparently is the son of Catherine Manheim, if you're familiar with her. And Meg Donnelly seems to have a bit of a star power in the making. And they really kind of own the film. The film is a really good tool to teach young kids about tolerance, and the film is essentially about desegregation. You have a catastrophic world event that happened that initiated all these zombies into existence. But this is set many years after this pseudo-apocalypse, back to when a world gets back to some semblance of normalcy. Think the end of Shaun of the Dead, just what happens after that coda. And you find that zombies have evolved and lived their life in one side of this town, and the people, Seabrook I think it is, live on their side. And this is the first year that the school is integrating both zombies and their regular living student bodies. And you sort of see the prejudice that's being hurled against the zombies, but a lot of it is just myth and legend and all this kind of stuff, and they're actually people just like anybody else. There's almost no difference between them except for how they look. And as a tool to teach young kids about such subjects as prejudice or racism, or sexism, or any kind of ism, if you will, this is a pretty strong starting point. Now, it does fall to the fault that a lot of these films that use allegories to dissect race, which is you are peeling back an entire race of people into being a storybook monster. There is some problematic elements to that if you're wading into the water. But the film doesn't. It's very on the nose, and it's aimed for a very specific audience that's not designed really to dissect that far into it. But yeah, I would recommend it, especially if you have kids, for that purpose as well. But first and foremost, this is a musical. And the music kind of slaps at times. It's goddamn catchy, and it's really, there's a lot of songs that are like little earworms. There's a song called Someday in this one that is particularly strong. And there's, as of this point, 2 zombies movies. I think there's a third one coming later this summer. Of the 2 movies, the second one I think was a significant improvement over this one. But even still, this one's pretty solid. So which character were you most able to identify with or connect with, and in what way? I don't know. I think both the 2 main characters, who I think are Addie and Zed. Addie's the cheerleader and Zed is the zombie. Are both relatable on some level. Like, she has white hair, and she doesn't want anybody to know because she needs to appear as if she's like everybody else. So she's concealing who she is for fear that she might be ostracized, just like the zombie folk are. And then the zombie folk are just trying to live their life and try to... Zed is just trying to prove that he's capable of being on the football team just as much as anybody else on that team. And there's a relatability to that. Like, everybody's gone through this stage in their life where they don't fit in, either due to prejudgment or prejudice or something like that. And I feel like that's tackled well here and made relatable through both of those characters. Best line or most memorable quote, I'm going to adjust that to most memorable song. I think it's that Somebody, but there's also like this Zombieland Blam song or something like that. Both of those are really good. The Zombieland Blam one is pretty like hip dance kind of music and choreographed really strongly, I might add, in the dance. And then the It's Someday. That song is really sweet and romantic, and the lighting in that sequence, it's sang twice in the film. The second time it is sang, has beautiful lighting. It's very soft and romantic, and it's quite good. On par with like a theatrical musical. Were you surprised by the ending, and what would you do differently? I wasn't surprised by the ending in the slightest, because you kind of know which direction this is going. This is essentially West Side Story without the tragedy, and I don't know that I would have changed that for the audience this was intended for. And if you want something that's like a little more elevated, watch West Side Story. It's essentially the same thing. Do you normally enjoy musicals? Yes, and it wasn't something that I traditionally did. The musical that won me over was the Buffy musical. Like, there had been other musicals that I'd listened to and I liked, but it was while watching the Buffy musical that something clicked with me. Musicals are great because they are expressing feeling. Oftentimes you watch any movie or TV show and people left things unsaid, but a musical number puts everything out there. It's vulnerability exposed, or confidence exposed, depending on what's happening in the situation. And that's something that I really like. It's sort of like an inner monologue, because oftentimes in musicals, other people aren't necessarily cognizant that a musical number is going on. It's almost as if you're reading a book in the character's mind, and you're reading the prose of what's being left unsaid. And so I, through the Buffy musical, really grew to appreciate musicals, and then I went through a period where I watched a lot of them, a lot of the greats, and there are some exceptional musicals out there. So yeah, I suggest you check out musicals, and if you want to watch a really good one, that as far as TV show musicals go, there's none better than that Buffy musical, Once More with Feeling. I think it's on Hulu. Check that out. Do you feel this film was enhanced by the musical numbers? Why or why not? Without the musical numbers, this is just a standard kind of allegory that is good, but the musical numbers really elevate. As I said, the music is pretty darn catchy, especially in that second film. But this film has 3 songs that are really, really quite strong as well, either catchy or just genuinely good, well-written songs. Anything else I'd like to add? There's sort of a stigma for TV movies, and I don't think that's fair. Now, granted, I'm watching a Disney one, and this is never something that I would necessarily nominate for any kind of awards material or anything, but I think that we don't apply enough of our artistic merit to the television film format, and I think that is a disservice, because some of these movies, like even this one, with a second or a third pass, could be really quite something, and that's, I guess, my little thoughts on that. Zombies 1 is a solid film that, especially if you have kids, young kids even. My kid is 6, turning 7 here in a month or so, and she is in love with this one, and especially the second one. So if you haven't had a chance to, check them out. They are fun, especially to watch with the kiddos. Alright, next week, my next challenge is week 23, a film that takes place before the year 1900. I'm actually kind of watching one in piece on Netflix, so that might be my next one. So to be continued. But thanks for watching. Let me know what your favorite TV movie is. My favorite TV movie probably is the It miniseries, the 2-part miniseries from 1990. I know it has some problems, but I think it was a pretty solid adaptation of Stephen King's masterpiece. What is your favorite TV movie? Let me know in the comments down below.